If you have a home loan and an extra 25,000 Indian rupees every month, one choice feels safe and the other feels smart. But the uncomfortable part is this: the mathematically better answer is not always the emotionally better one. Most people reduce this to one lazy sentence. Home loan is guaranteed savings, index funds or market returns, so just compare 8.5% versus 11%. That shortcut misses taxes, sequence, liquidity, and your own behavior. So let us build the decision the way an engineer would. One clean example, one fair comparison, and one rule you can actually use. Assume your outstanding home loan is 50 Indian rupees lakh, the interest rate is 8.5%, and the remaining tenure is 20 years. You have an extra 25,000 Indian rupees every month on top of your normal EMI. At that rate and tenure, your EMI is about 43,391 Indian rupees. Left alone, this loan will cost around 54.14 Indian rupees lakh in total interest over the remaining schedule. That is why prepayment feels so satisfying. Every extra rupee you send to the loan is saving future interest you can clearly see. But investing has a timing advantage. Money you invest earlier gets more years to compound, and that time often matters more than a small difference in headline rates. Now we need the first tax reality. For a self-occupied house, the income tax department says the deduction for home loan interest can go up to 62,400 Indian rupees of tax saved only if you were in the old regime, eligible, and able to use the 2 lakh rupee interest cap fully. In our example, the first year interest is about 4.21 Indian rupees lakh. So even if you are in the old regime and use the full cap, the effective first year loan cost drops only to around 7.18%. Not to zero, and not for everyone. And if you are in the new regime, that deduction is not doing this job for you at all. So your comparison has to start with your actual post-tax loan cost, not a brochure rate and not a myth. Now the second tax reality. Principal repayment can sit inside Section 80C, but only if you are in the old regime and only if that bucket is not already crowded by EPF, ELSS, life insurance, or tuition fees. For many salaried software engineers, EPF already eats a big chunk of that bucket. So home loan principal does not always create fresh tax savings in real life. Now let us define the two strategies fairly. Strategy 1 is invest the extra 25,000 Indian rupees in an index fund every month and keep paying the regular EMI. Strategy 2 is prepay that same 25,000 Indian rupees every month, close the loan faster, and only then invest the full freed cash flow. This is the comparison most people skip. They compare prepayment today against investing today, but they forget that once the loan ends early, you can redirect the entire EMI into investing. First, look only at the loan. If you add 25,000 Indian rupees every month toward prepayment, the loan closes in about 104 months, which is roughly 8.7 years. That saves about 33.01 Indian rupees lakh of interest and cuts about 11.3 years off the remaining tenure. That chart is the emotional power of prepayment. By year 10, the aggressive prepayment line is already at zero while the normal EMI line still has a big balance left. Now switch to the wealth side. Assume the index fund gives a long-term nominal return of 11%. That is an assumption for comparison, not a promise. If you invest the extra 25,000 Indian rupees from day one for the full 20 years, the corpus becomes about 2.16 Indian rupees crore. If you prepay first and invest only after the loan closes, the later corpus becomes about 1.83 Indian rupees crore. That gap exists because the invest now strategy gets the earliest years of compounding. In this example, the difference before tax is about 32.95 Indian rupees lakh. After a simple terminal capital gains estimate, the invest now strategy still ends ahead by about 24.70 Indian rupees lakh. So taxes shrink the gap, but they do not erase the time advantage in this assumption set. But do not overlearn that result. The answer flips if your expected long-term return is lower, your loan rate is higher, or you know you will panic and stop investing in a bad market. In this exact example, the break-even long-term annual return is about 9.74%. If your realistic post-cost, post-tax expectation is below that, prepayment starts looking stronger. If it is above that, investing early starts looking stronger. Now let us add the human filter. Prepaying gives certainty, lower fixed obligations and psychological relief. Index investing gives liquidity, optionality and higher expected long-run wealth, but only if you stay invested. This is where software engineers often fool themselves. They say they will invest the difference, but in practice the cash disappears into gadgets, vacations and random upgrades. If that sounds like you, prepayment may be the better behavioral choice even when the spreadsheet prefers investing. There is also a liquidity rule. If your emergency fund is weak or your job situation feels shaky, killing liquidity to prepay the loan too fast can backfire. A lower loan balance is nice, but cash in the bank pays the bills. So here is the practical decision tree. Keep a solid emergency fund first. Take any employer match or obvious tax benefit first. Then compare your actual post-tax loan cost with a conservative expected post-cost, post-tax index return and be honest about your behavior. If your loan is expensive, your risk tolerance is low, or being debt-free will materially improve your life, prepaying is perfectly rational. A guaranteed reduction in fixed obligations is a real return, not a fake one. If your loan is manageable, you already have liquidity, and you can stay disciplined through market crashes. Index funds usually deserve more respect than they get. Time in the market can beat fast loan closure in surprisingly many cases. By the way, when we say index fund here, we are not talking about some obscure theme. The Nifty 50 page says that index represented about 54.1% of the free float market capitalization of NSE-listed stocks as of September 30, 2025. So this is broad market India equity, not a side bet. And current home loan rates are not tiny either. HDFC Bank's public home loan page currently shows rates ranging from 7.9% to 13.2% depending on profile. So this choice is not academic. The cost of debt is still meaningful. My simple summary is this. Prepay when you need certainty. Invest when you have discipline, time, and liquidity. Split the difference when the math is close and your emotions are loud. A very sensible middle path is 50-50. Send part of the extra cash to prepayment so the loan shrinks faster, and invest the rest automatically so compounding still starts now. That reduces regret in both directions. What you should not do is drift. Do not keep the loan untouched and also fail to invest. That is the worst version because you keep the interest cost and miss the compounding years. If this helped you think more clearly about debt versus compounding, subscribe to WealthCode. We break down India personal finance the way working engineers actually make decisions, with numbers, trade-offs, and no drama. Next, we are going to break down how much emergency fund a two-income tech household in India actually needs without keeping too much money idle.